I'll tell you about my flight experience and also the customs experience, which was a bit scary. So the flight experience was really good. I didn't sleep at all on the way from Sydney to Seattle. I closed my eyes sometimes, but I don't think I ever fell asleep. I was awake for like 36 hours, and I did get 12 hours sleep last night, so that's kind of catching up. So I still got more catching up to do. So on the flight, I watched some movies. One of the movies I watched was one with Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara in it. It was called Hot Pursuit. I found that it wasn't that good, but I watched it anyway. So it was an okay movie. But I'll tell you about the good movies that I watched. And this was actually surprising to me because I didn't know Japanese movies could be so good. I watched two Japanese movies. The first one that I watched was called Flying Colors, and it was about a girl who had a lot of fun in high school and primary school. She would hang out with the popular girls, and up till the last year of her high school, she was really bad with her studies, but then she wanted to go into university and wanted to prove to her mum that she could go into the university that she wanted, and her mum was really supportive. The characters are really likable, and so this girl goes to a cram tuition school in order to cram in all the information that she missed out on. And it was actually really inspiring. Like, it was quite a touching story because it goes into the family dynamics behind what this girl was going through and how her father was also favoriting her brother who was meant to become really good at baseball. It's really hard to explain the whole story because it was a longer movie than usual. So I think it was about 2 hours. So the story is a bit complicated, but it was a good movie. It had English subtitles, and I cried a few times during the movie, especially nearer to the end when you really start liking the characters more and getting to know them. And yeah, so that's a good movie. I won't spoil it too much. But if you ever have access to Japanese films with English subtitles, check them out because they sometimes are much better than the Hollywood movies that come out. And I normally don't even watch movies, but that Japanese film was good. And so I thought that film was good. I'm going to take a chance with another Japanese film. And this other Japanese film, at first, it was a bit ordinary and probably not as engaging as the other one, but then it got better towards the middle when the story developed and it became more complicated, and it was really good with a twist at the end. So this movie that I'm talking about is called Initiation Love, and it follows the journey of a girl who is in a long distance relationship, and I thought, long distance relationship, like, I can relate to that. So I watched the movie, and it was about how the guy she was dating changed after they were long distance, and it just follows the struggles. There were a few events that happened that made the relationship really hard. That was also a really good movie, especially the ending. Like, if you watch the movie, stay engaged through the whole thing, and then you watch the ending, you'll be like blown away by how smart the film is. So I really like that one. So that was the last film that I watched, and I tried watching a few other films in between. I watched the newest Fantastic Four, which was not that good. I was like, the characters aren't that interesting. They're just not as interesting as the original Fantastic Four. Why remake or make a sequel to a movie if you're not going to make it better? So the original Fantastic Four was much better than this newest one. As for the food, it was okay. I pre-ordered vegan meals. They served 2 different meals, and both of them were Indian meals. The second one that I got was a dal with potato stuff, but I wasn't really that hungry, so I didn't eat too much. And the man next to me gave me a banana because he knew I was vegan. And yeah, I passed some of my food to him. Like, at first I got a Tim Tam and what else? This pizza with cheese on it, this pizza roll with cheese. So I said, oh, do you want mine? Because I'm not eating it. So he took it and he gave me a banana. So once I landed in LA, I had to go through the customs and border security. That was pretty scary because the last time was easy. I got in with no problems. I said I was visiting my husband on holiday, and they just asked me the standard questions like how long are you staying, and when was the last time you came? So I answered that last time and it was fine and they let me through. But this time, when they asked, I said that I'm on holiday, and they asked, what are you doing on holiday? I said, oh, I'm not really sure yet. And then they asked, so do you know anyone in the US? I said, yeah, my husband. And then they're like, oh, so your real reason is to visit your husband? And I said, yeah, so I'm visiting my husband and on holiday, so both. And then they called up the interrogation people. And so I was sent to this room to be interrogated, and I was waiting there for 10 minutes, being pretty scared. There were a few other people in the room as well. There was this family who looked like they were from the Middle East, and there was another girl who was crying because she had been interrogated and then she had to go back to where she came from. And I saw her crying, and I was like, my heart was beating so fast. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope that I don't have to go back to Australia because I paid for the ticket. I took the time off to come to visit my husband. I haven't seen my husband for like 6 months in person. So I was so scared. But luckily I had my return ticket receipt. So I came prepared in case I would be asked more questions. So when I was called up to be asked questions, they asked me stuff like, where am I going to live? How long am I staying? They asked me about my visa. Why is it taking so long? I'm like, I don't know why it's taking so long, but we tried to call the processing place. They never get back to us. And in the end, it was just my return ticket that proved that I would be going back to Australia. They asked me what I do in Australia. I said I'm a piano teacher and I just take off the holidays in order to visit my husband because my visa is taking so long. So they accepted that and I was let go, and I was so relieved after that. I was like, thank God that I can visit my husband. And so it was so good to finally be with my husband. Like, so good to hug him again and to like just touch him. Yeah, when you're in a long distance relationship, especially when the other person's overseas, the only time you spend together apart is through FaceTime or through message. It's pretty tough. I think it's even more tough when you're married. And yeah, but it was so good to be reunited. And when I saw my husband, he gave me a bunch of roses, like 18 red roses. And then we went shopping, but I was really tired because I hadn't had any sleep. And our conversation started off really happy, like, how you doing? And we caught up a bit, and then I got a bit emotional and I just started crying. And so when I don't get enough sleep and then I get emotional, it's really bad and I cry a lot. And so I didn't end up going to the shops with him. He just went and bought some fruit and other groceries. I stayed in the car. But then I got over it because I don't know, I'm generally a happy person, just sometimes I get emotional. Yeah, so that was my flight experience, my customs and border experience. And so now I'm safe in not in Seattle, like in another suburb south of Seattle. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. And the weather's not so bad. It's actually sunny. And I thought in winter in Seattle it was like really like grey and stuff. It was actually raining when I arrived, raining and foggy, but not too cold. So I came prepared with warm clothes and beanies and scarves, but I looks like I don't really have to wear them today. Yeah, so thanks for sticking with me in my long story. I meant to show you what I eat, but I'll probably do that in a separate video. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and comment below. See you in my next one. Bye.